Why hello, Alpha Rookie here, or at least the Alpha part anyways. Rookie's off camera today, it's just me. Social media, Patreon. Alright, enough of that shit. Okay, today I want to tell you all about the Tremors TV show you probably didn't know existed and how f***ing good it is. Now, most TV shows based off of movie properties aren't very good. I mean, the main idea behind doing something like that is a cash grab anyways, because you just want the free marketing based on the goodwill the movie made. Also why we see so many god-awful reboots nowadays. And before you complain, oh, what about Buffy, Ash vs. Evil Dead, or MASH? Hey, I f***ing love MASH. I own the entire series, you got it? Now, before you ask yourself, hey me, if it's so good, why don't I know about it? Well, let me tell ya. Sci-Fi Channel f***ed this series over super hard and never gave it a chance. Before I tell you all about the show though, let's get into what actually happened with its production and what Sci-Fi did to screw the series over. Before I tell you why you might want to seek the series out. Hey, anyone who loves the Sci-Fi Channel or whatever, don't get mad at me.
I'm just stating the facts.
Also, Face Off is a pretty good show, I do like it. So, the first and possibly the biggest dick move here was the fact that the team that wrote and shot the show weren't even allowed in the editing room.
What's up? End of the line, please.
Really?
I mean, Sci-Fi and USA felt that they knew better than the people who had created the franchise from which we were spinning off from. I mean, seriously, the people who wrote the first 4 movies and directed 3 of them weren't good enough for Sci-Fi when it came to input in the editing room.
Your services will no longer be needed.
And not only that, they butchered the show in some major ways based on their own tastes. The most egregious example is the second episode, Shriek and Destroy. Since the show was an hour long, that meant with commercials, each episode was roughly 42 to 44 minutes. Well, Shriek and Destroy was only 38 minutes. That's almost 6 minutes less than most other episodes.
It ain't the 6 minutes. It's what happens in that 6 minutes.
That's an insane amount for a TV show. Also, that means 6 more minutes commercials. That's approaching Big Bang Theory levels of shortness. If you don't know, that show is incredibly short and CBS is loaded with long commercial breaks. It's a thing, go look it up. So, besides actually editing the show themselves, Sci-Fi also had the genius idea of airing the shows completely out of order.
That's weird, isn't it?
What? Yeah, it's as stupid as it sounds. You know that Shriek and Destroy episode I was just talking about? Well, I mentioned it was episode 2? Second episode, Shriek and Destroy. Actually, it was episode 2, only after it was re-aired on G4 in a marathon and on the DVD set. For the original run of the show, Sci-Fi actually had it as the last episode of the season. That's not the only one too. They tried to put the Mixmaster episodes together as well as the Criminal Dudes. But the series wasn't meant to be shown that way, so the audience was like, what the f*** is going on? And the sad part is, they never really corrected the show info. So even on my media center, it has the titles all wrong, and in the original aired by Sci-Fi date, instead of the way the filmmakers intended it. Lastly, a really odd but yet another stupid decision was they forced the production to be shot and edited in a 4:3 aspect ratio in 2003. This was around the time the HD TVs were becoming a thing and getting more widespread, but Sci-Fi insisted it be shot in the boxy frame instead of widescreen. So it was already dated looking the minute it premiered. But not only that, years later when it was streamable on Hulu and Amazon, there was a widescreen version. What? Basically, it turns out the people shot the show in 16:9 but framed everything in a 4:3 and cropped the sides. How f***ing odd is all of this?
That's weird, isn't it?
You already said that. But yeah, it still applies actually. All this adds up to is just a bunch of studio execs meddling in the creative process and dooming the show from day one, which sucks because if you're a Tremors fan, well, fan of more than just the first movie, this show is actually fantastic. I mean, assuming Burt Gummer is your favorite character, which of course it is. I mean, why else do you watch this shit?
That's a yummer from the Gummer.
Now, you might think after spending so much time talking about how Sci-Fi tossed this show out of an airplane with no parachute that this video is really about how Tremors is a misunderstood, undiscovered TV classic, right? So is the show actually any good? Of course not, it's terrible. But it's terrible in all the right ways, hear me out. So, the show takes place after the events of Tremors 3, after the town has discovered El Blanco, a sterile albino graboid. Since it's a rare animal and seemingly the last of its kind, the government declares it's an endangered species and forces Burt to not kill it. Now, since the residents of Perfection don't want to move because it really is their home, they end up having to live with it. Burt has installed sensors throughout the area and everyone has fancy little wristwatches that warn them of El Blanco's movements, forcing them to stay still when he travels through. They live in harmony, with El Blanco eating wild animals and the occasional tourists, but not really bothering the townsfolk. It's a low-budget, monster of the week type of show. Think, X-Files, the one-off episodes like the Mud Monster or the Garbage Man. They play into the overall narrative, but really exist on their own for the most part and don't rely on you following every episode closely like it was Narcos or House of Cards. You get a water monster, a weird green glowing suck-you-dry cloud thingy, bugs that eat everything, and of course, plenty of ass blasters and shriekers. And there's a surprising amount of talent involved. Now, Michael Gross's Burt Gummer might be the only actor from the movies that returns. Well, I guess if you count Melvin, he's an asshole. You also get Michael Rooker, Vivica Fox, Dean Norris, Nicholas Turturro, and Christopher f***ing Lloyd. Great Scott, that's an impressive lineup. And if you're a fan of the Alpha Rookie channel, you'd know our affinity for horror movies. So it was really cool to see Melinda Clarke from Return of the Living Dead Part 3 make a little appearance. Yeah, heavy. Now, the main draw for the show is obviously Burt. I mean, he's the main attraction, and since he's your favorite character, it's worth watching the show to see more of his crazy anti-government paranoia and monster hunting skills. But not only that, Dean Norris as W.D. Twitchell is the government agent assigned to handle Burt, and they hate each other, but also need each other many times. Their banter is reminiscent of Val and Earl from the first movie. The Jack character from Tremors 3 gets replaced by Tyler, who is a much better addition to the show, by the way, with the exact same role, basically. I mean, literally, Tyler buys Jack's graboid business and then runs it in his absence. He and Burt bond in a really bromancy sort of way, which is great to see him trust someone for once. Mindy has grown and has moved away, but Nancy's still around, nagging Burt to grow some feelings. Jody is Walter's daughter or niece or something? I don't know. She runs the general store now, and she's a hawk for, well, hawking merchandise. Oh, there's also Nipple Lady. Yeah. And most of them are great and interesting and enjoyable to watch. You really believe these people are a big family in their dusty little town. The visuals are cheesy, the camera action is super TV quality, the special effects are bad, but no worse than the third movie. But it's f***ing Tremors, man. It has all the great character interactions from the movies, the acting is on point, and the stupid stuff they come up with as conflicts are really fun. Plus, they actually shot outside in good locations like the movies. You feel the landscape as a character unto itself. Watching Burt try to find a secret underground science lab, or driving a super duper hardcore off-road big tired vehicle, or showing some heart and actually building relationships with others, it's all great. I'd love to go into detail about all the stuff I love, but you have to experience it for yourself. Just know that you have to watch the first 3 movies and be a big Gummy Bear fan.
Hey, Gummy Bears, wait up. Don't call me that.
Which of course you are, because you love Burt. You can buy the set on Amazon for like $13 and it's totally worth it. It's a stupid, fun, but endearing show and well worth the watch. Tremors TV Show, go watch it. I did, and I loved it. That's why I'm talking to you and telling you about it through this camera thing. Yeah, it's my first time on video. I just felt really passionate about this, and you know, if you liked me on video, let me know. If I was terrible, let me know, I guess. Let me know if I'm better than Ryan. Even though I don't want to be on camera all the time, I would like to rub it in his face like, haha, I'm better than you. If you like Alpha Rookie in general and you want to see more of this, we got this Patreon. Maybe you want to hang out. You pledged? Oh, awesome, motivation and friendship, man. I like you. I like you. You guys, I love it. Oh man, all right, I'm out of here. See you later.